Okay, fine. Let's talk about it. Bowl season has been pretty crappy, and it's been kind of a disappointment. And that was kind of obvious when we started to get past the season schedule, past conference championship games, and a lot of people started doing the transfer portal thing. And it's like, dude, are we even going to have rosters for bowl season? So yeah, it just kind of puts you in a really weird spot to see some of these games, and I really can't think of any that I was really excited about going into it, and that lived up to what it what it was, or kind of what wound up being of that game. And case in point was one here the other day, just a couple days ago. Ohio State. I mean, Ohio State, they lost their starting quarterback and their top two wide receivers, and I'm sure a lot of other players. And it's like, dude, why? What's the deal with this transfer stuff? They've got to fix the transfer portal timing and calendar. I know there's been a lot of talk about that, so hopefully they'll get that fixed and figured out, and maybe wait. I know why they have it. Then it's to allow people to go find a school and get enrolled into classes and stuff like that before the semester starts in the spring. So, but it is ridiculous how bad it is. I mean, it just so much watered down the bowl season. It was pathetic. Anyways, let's talk about the championship games. Well, there's 3 games left. Let's talk about those 3 games real quick. 3 games. We got, and this Georgia-Florida State game. Florida State had like 90% of their starters not even playing that game, whether they opted out or transferred or whatever. That just tells you how bad it is. But we got 3 games left, or I guess we got more than 3. Yeah, I guess we got more than 3. We got a couple games, New Year's Day, and then the national championship game about a week later. So, first off, happy New Year's to everybody. College football is coming to that end. We got Wisconsin and LSU New Year's Day, the ReliaQuest Bowl. Okay, I would expect LSU to probably win that one. Then we got Liberty, Oregon. I don't even if like Oregon had 100% starter opt out, I think Oregon probably just wins that game. They should win that game. Iowa, Tennessee, I have no idea how many people have opted out of those 2 teams, but I would imagine Tennessee probably wins just because Iowa doesn't have an offense. Kind of hard to win if you can't score points. And even if Iowa offensive starters opted out, hey, maybe that'd actually be pretty good. Maybe that'd actually be better offense, but I doubt it. So then we get to then the last 2 games. Liberty, Oregon, yeah. Crazy, huh? Couldn't imagine that game being entertaining at all. But the first one, Michigan, Alabama, in the Rose Bowl. This would be an interesting one, as man, and it's kind of crazy, those 2 games, those 2 semifinal games for the playoff. Those games are so. The matchups of Michigan, Alabama, Washington, Texas are so good on the matchups. The way I would look at Michigan, Alabama, and I'm not going to spend a lot of time here. I'm just going to give a quick wrap up. Actually, let me know what you think. What's going to happen in the playoffs? Because I think they're going to be interesting. I think the key factor of the game is going to be on the Alabama side. I think it's going to be with Jalen Milroe. If Jalen Milroe is more on the consistent side than what he has been throughout the year. He got better in the second half of the year, but man, that Auburn game, geez, outside of maybe one of the greatest throws, greatest plays in college football history, he didn't really have that great of a game, and Auburn really kind of screwed that game up. But I think that's what this game will come down to. Jalen Milroe is consistent. I would see Alabama winning that game. Michigan is that team that is like the Tim Duncan era Spurs or the Bill Belichick Patriots with Tom Brady. Those teams did not make mistakes. You had to beat them. They were not going to beat themselves. You had to beat them. That's what I see in Michigan. I don't really see like a huge high end, but I don't see Michigan as they make a lot of mistakes. I just don't see that for Michigan. They're a good team. They're not a great team in my opinion, but they are consistently good. They're just consistently good. They're really good at all the things that they do, and they do them very well. That's where I look at Alabama, and it's like, y'all got, I would say you got a little bit more of the high end, but, you got an inconsistent quarterback throughout the year. He got better as the year went on, second half of the year. I would lean a little bit more Alabama here, just because I think Nick Saban, who's been there, he's going to know how to coach him up and kind of get him over the hump. I think Alabama will probably pull it out, but I think that would be a really interesting one. The second one, right after that game, we're going to have Washington, Texas. Now, I'm a Longhorn fan, hook 'em, hoping Texas wins. This game kind of scares the crap out of me because Michael Penix is that dude. He doesn't make mistakes. Whenever he passes the ball, he doesn't, he misses away from defenders. He has a really good habit of doing that. And I don't know why Michael Penix is just not respected. And I don't know why that is. He is, to me, he should be one of the best quarterbacks coming out into the draft. And he's not even one of the top 5 expected quarterbacks to be drafted in the top 5, out of quarterbacks. So I don't know why that is. Is it because he's a lefty? I mean, the dude throws a great ball. He's really good. He knows when to use his legs. He doesn't make mistakes. So Michael Penix is really good. But to me, this game is going to come down to the line of scrimmage. I kind of want to lean Washington because of Michael Penix, but I think Texas just has the better line of scrimmage game on both sides of the ball. And as long as Texas doesn't make mistakes, like turnovers, I think Texas will probably pull it out. I think they'll be okay. Quinn Ewers is really good. If you haven't really seen him throughout this year, watching this game, you'll be pleasantly surprised with how good he is. And I think Texas will probably win. I was leaning Washington earlier, but I think that line of scrimmage is just going to be won by Texas, and they've leaned on that throughout the season at times, especially in that Alabama game when they beat Alabama. They leaned on their offense and defensive lines. That's where they won that game. So, by my astute calculations, Texas-Alabama rematch. And what's really kind of interesting and unique here is all 4 of these teams, if you had all the different combinations kind of meet up. So like if you had Michigan, Washington, it's kind of interesting because now Washington's going to be in that Big Ten. So they'll be playing, I don't know if they play next year, but they'll be playing, going forward kind of on the regular. Alabama, Washington would be like the one I would say doesn't really have a great story kind of going into it. But I don't know when the last time Alabama, Washington played, but I think that would be pretty unique. Michigan, Texas, the cool thing is they would play week 2 in Michigan next season. And then obviously Texas, Alabama, obviously you get the rematch from week 2 of this season. So there's some pretty interesting ones. And one of the cool things is Washington Texans actually played in the Alamo Bowl last year. So A little bit of a rematch there. Michigan, Alabama, obviously some of the most all-time winning programs in college football history right there. I think they're 1-3, I believe. I think Texas is 4. Not, I know Ohio State is mixed in there somewhere. I don't know if Ohio State's 2 or 3. So yeah, it's pretty cool storylines kind of going along. It's just the Alabama Washington one. I don't really know. But the one thing I will say is I actually think the winner of the college football playoff comes out of the Washington and Texas game, not out of Michigan and Alabama. So let me know what you think. Who you think's going to win it all? Michigan has a great case. They're very consistent, very strong. Alabama has very much improved throughout the year. They've figured out how to work with Jalen Milroe, what he does good, what he doesn't do good, and they kind of just stay away from that. They use him as a dual threat a lot more than what they used to in the beginning part of the year. They've gotten a lot better. Washington, they have a very prolific passing game. Obviously, everybody knows about the depth they have at skill position. Michael Penix is a very, very unrespected and capable thrower of the ball. I don't know why he is not respected as nearly as much as what he should be. And Texas, they have a great balance of offense. They have a great line of scrimmage game on both sides of the ball. They have pretty good depth throughout their team. Jonathan Brooks, their leading rusher on the year, went out with an ACL injury, and kind of like they didn't even miss him because they had like 3 other running backs step in and fill the void. So this is a really good college football playoff, and I'm really looking forward to what it'll look like next year going forward with 12 teams. So happy New Year's, everybody. Let me know what you think, and maybe we'll make another video next week, as we look at the actual championship game and figure out which team wins both of these games.